There's no arguing that we are in the darkest age of NASCAR gaming. The fact that there basically should not even be considered to be a game out, since the one that is currently the newest doesn't even work. But what is NASCAR going to have as a solution? We always come forth and complain, and rightfully so, but now we need to think of maybe the ways NASCAR can improve and see if they do that in the future. So today, I'm going to ask the question: how can NASCAR fix their gaming scene? Well, first off, I think that you need to have it where no one company gets the license. Motorsport games shit itself. There's no other way to say it. They absolutely destroyed the NASCAR console brand more than anyone else ever has, and it's gonna take a ton of time to fix this. Ignition was a complete failure, like I said. The game didn't work, and the biggest highlight of its release were the funny videos that people would put out of basically just how it didn't work, how everyone would crash together, how the game itself would crash, how nobody could get anything properly working. This was awful, and this could be the springboard to get NASCAR in gear. The company has drug its name through the mud, as well as NASCAR's, to the point that nobody takes it seriously. More people, if you ask about motorsport games in the NASCAR side of things, are asking if it's shut down yet, rather than if it'll ever have a new game. That doesn't happen unless you have complete disaster. And it really killed console gaming overall. I don't know anybody anymore who plays console gaming on the regular unless it's old NASCAR games. Instead, more people go to iRacing or have just straight up moved on, or like I said, go to old games from 20 years ago. No other sporting fan has this issue except NASCAR fans, and well, I guess you could count IndyCar fans, but that's more because they just haven't had a game made. Instead, you need to have the market choose which games will be better. Have multiple companies have the NASCAR license if available, and whoever makes the best one, the one that's most applicable to fans, the one that fans can latch onto the most, well, they'll end up having the sole possession of the license simply from outdoing people. And if they screw up, mess up, or do anything bad in any way, and another company comes along, they can't take a day off. This, hopefully, would help NASCAR like it did at its gaming peak, aligning perfectly with the peak whatsoever when you had NR 2003 and NASCAR Thunder 2004. You notice when they went to a single licensed company? Well, you saw EA completely fall off the map, much like EA did with a lot of different franchises. This also hopefully will either make motorsport games improve, which I highly doubt, or maybe hopefully for some, force them out of business or at least out of the sport. This would set NASCAR apart from other sporting leagues and racing series as well. Much of the industry right now is to have single licenses making games for different franchises, different parties, different leagues, whatever it may be. NASCAR is looking to set itself apart and try to climb back up the ladder of popularity. Well, it's kind of like in racing. You cannot expect to win the race when all you do is follow the leader. You got to have a different strategy. And I think NASCAR could set itself apart in a good way. I mean, they're definitely trying to take chances. Look what they're doing with the Xfinity Series going to the CW. Yeah, it's probably because they offered a lot of money, but it's also a big opportunity and chance. If it works, it's going to work well. If it doesn't work, it's going to work like hell, badly. You can't beat people doing the same thing. Which kind of leads me to the second point that I think NASCAR can do to increase the relevancy of their gaming scene. They need to have almost a tier system. Not so that people can graduate up like they're getting paid or something, not like a Truck Xfinity Cup kind of thing, but 3 different levels of video games that they can put out. Currently, NASCAR is sort of in 2 of them. NASCAR currently has iRacing, which is a sim. This is really good for hardcore fans who want to pay a lot of money and put a lot of time into this game. And that's great for these hardcore fans, but it's not the greatest for bringing new people in, and it's not the most cost-effective way to bring fans into any kind of gaming scene either. It's fun to watch, it's fun for a lot of people to race, but it's not something that is really palatable for little Timmy that's 10 years old at home and wants to race as Chase Elliott. Instead, you have nothing for him. You do have a different tier, but there's one in between that's missing. The different tier you have is basically arcade games with Rocket League and Roblox and other games that really are geared towards kids. It's a great move by NASCAR. Make sure that you can get kids in early, introduce them to the brand, and maybe they'll latch on. But the thing is, if they're going to be introduced fully through video games like many kids were, many kids that grew up to be friends of mine that I know who were introduced solely through video games, well, you're going to have to give them a way to get a little step higher. And that's what's missing. You have the first and third tier, you don't have the second. What is that second? Well, it's a huge gap between the two, affectionately called Simcade. It's sort of like real life, but you can tell it's definitely made to be like a video game. It's made so that little Timmy at 10 can pick it up, but also somebody like me in his 20s can go and have fun and take it kind of seriously. And you've seen this before in NASCAR, like the old EA games, even Technics and 704's better games. So it's not something that's out of the question for NASCAR to ever do. It fits that middle ground that most fans, new fans, and casuals will all fall into. I know that somebody who's not a NASCAR fan might have fun playing a NASCAR game and crashing up the field just for the hell of it. But they can't do that with iRacing, and they can't do that with Rocket League. They can do that with a capable console game. Sure, you can do that with Ignition, but that's more something the game does itself rather than the player. That would also really be a way that it can set itself apart from other leagues in American sports. If you look, for instance, at the NFL, they have Madden, but there's no kind of gaming experience that's in any way similar to the real thing like iRacing is considered to be. There's nothing. You either play football or you don't. But in NASCAR, you can immerse yourself even more. And in a way, I think that this also fits broader because, let's be real, you can crash in the Simcade games like the EA games a lot too, in a way that I really don't think you could do on a regular basis, as fun at least for a kid, that I really don't think an F1 game could do as fun for a kid as a NASCAR game who can crash up 40 cars all at once. Yes, it can be lowest common denominator, but it's something that people need to look at. And if NASCAR can get these three tiers set up perfectly, it's gonna be in a great spot in the long term. And to expand on this, I think the third point is one day to really have a great line and system for esports. It is a rising way of entertainment. There's no way around it. You might not like it, you might not get it, but it is rising. You see it online with different streams, leagues, whatever. You have iRacing with the Coke Series, yet it's no way mainstream whatsoever, even with NASCAR fans. Hell, a lot of fan-made leagues will actually beat it in viewership at different times. And you can't force the console side of esports either, just like what they did with the Heat Pro League. The game was not ready, and it was absolutely embarrassing to see what happened, and the only reason that many people saw it is because of how much it was pushed. But now, only a couple years later, it fails to even exist. Partially because of the crappy Ignition, but still, it was not something that I could consider a success. NASCAR is going to have to be methodical with this. You can only do this once a game is ready. NASCAR should take risks, yes, but not unnecessary risks like the Heat Pro League was. Instead, take time to build the credibility of your game and the gaming series overall, and then make something like this. That way, it's not a complete embarrassment, and maybe you can stand above a lot of your competitors with it. Get content creators who play video games, even ones that don't, who will be critical but not unfair. Get good marketing for the game and put true attention on it from the sanctioning body. These are not surefire ways to make NASCAR games come back, but they are ways that can at least give it an opportunity. So now, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to pass this on to you, though, and ask, what is your favorite NASCAR game? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.